My name's Harrison Brown from hotels.tv, and this week's agent training is all about business development using a CRM, customer relationship management tools, and techniques to grow your business. Now, what you'll find is from this week's training, it's going to be more of an overview or a helicopter view. What we will do in future webinars that you'll be invited to for weeks and months to come is start to drill into the nitty-gritty of each element of business development, because really you could spend a whole chapter, a whole hour or couple of hours really going through each individual part of business development and really drilling down into the finer points. So let's get started. Okay, so what we know, first of all, at this stage from all the training that we've actually been through so far, is that we've found events, we've found new clients, we've selected and recruited hotels, we've created a private booking area, we've linked it, we've promoted it to the event audience, and we've received bookings starting to come through, and what we've done is training directly on managing those bookings, all sorts of different ways. Now, they are really that's really the backbone of the business as far as your structure that you then need to repeat from that particular point of view. And business development really is how you can do that, how you can then start to build more and more clients on the back of this. So how do you grow your business? And that really is the main question. There are a couple of ways to do this. First of all, you just simply need to find more events, because with more events comes new clients. Growing your business may also mean making more bookings. So it may not mean, of course, you're going to need more and more events, but it may not be the focus directly on the number of events that you're going to do. It may be more about maximizing the bookings that you're getting from each event. And that is another good way to grow your business. And obviously, the ideal situation is that you would be growing the number of events and you would be maximizing the number of bookings per event. And becoming the expert is another way that we're going to discuss to grow your business, because that soon turns into new business once people understand that you are the expert in this sector, and so therefore they should only come to you, and they'll feel very comfortable coming to you to get what they need. So new events equals a new audience, and that equals a new bookings. So is it more clients or is it more bookings? That is the question. So how do you find new events first? Well, we've been through this in various chapters. Google search is simply and still a great way to do it. There is so much information on Google. Every single event that you would ever think about and find is going to have a website dedicated to it and it's going to be listed in Google, because the whole idea with the event organizer is to maximize the exposure and get more visitors coming through to their own event. So therefore, to do that, they must have great exposure. And that also comes down to social networks and social marketing, and any form of marketing that they could possibly do. That could come down to webinars and all sorts of different ways that they might choose to promote themselves. And you can expose yourself to this market. So not only can you do the searching And as we've discussed before, you search in a niche or in a specific direction, such as pharmaceutical conferences or sports tournaments or whatever it is that your niche is in your direction. But also make sure in advance you're on the email newsletters of all these events as well. So if you go onto Google and you find these great organizations and venues and convention centers and organizations that stage these events, if you're on their newsletter list, quite often you'll actually be targeted and sent the information directly to alert you that an event is actually taking place. So that can save you a lot of the search work. The information comes in, and then you just contact the organizers of the event to work with them. So utilize Google in lots of different ways, and over coming webinars, we're going to really go into how else you can do that. But let's say at this point of the training, I just want to take more of an overview situation and not get too involved in the nitty-gritty side of things. We can always do that on a one-to-one as well with the appointments that you're making with myself and the team each week. Local information, get involved in the community, get involved in sources of local information, because again, that's another great way of finding out what's happening. Keep your eyes open as well when you drive down the road, when you're just, in your normal day, traveling, going to school, going to an office, going out, you'll always see events and information. I'm sure around your local area there are events that you're interested in that you may not even tied in yet into thinking, oh, maybe there's an opportunity to do the hotel bookings for that. And that's an event you're actually going to. So always keep connected to local information, subscribe to their feeds, subscribe to their feeds through social. Facebook is a great way to do that. You'll get information. Instagram is another very good way to get that information. Pinterest is good because that's how people promote themselves and get that message out as early as possible. And when events are really starting to promote themselves is often a good time to connect with them, because the event is connected. The organizers are in game mode and they're ready to be doing some business. Some of the time there's a belief that you need to get in before the event actually is promoted, but actually at the time the event starts to promote itself is often a very good time to do it. Like I said, because the organizers are actually more in the mindset of the attendees, getting the attendees. And if they're promoting and now attendees are arriving, oh, we need to get something organized on the website about the accommodation because it may not be suitable. But they're thinking about that at that particular point in time as they're doing their own marketing. So if you are getting these alerts, then great. What you could do, because obviously once you subscribe to a lot of these newsletters, is you're going to be receiving a lot of junk mail, I suppose, or a lot of feeds that you might not want to clog up your personal inbox. Use your hotel's TV email address, or you can always just set up another random Gmail address and have everything fed into that. So you can kind of, keep that completely separate, keep it as a marketing entity, and it doesn't crowd your inbox as well. But Gmail is a very good way. If you use gmail.com's platform, which I think probably most of you do, the promotional information is siphoned off into its own tab at the top anyway. So you can have one for your main emails, you've got one for social and one for promotions. And that just make sure you have a look at it and make sure you start to fine tune it so you're not just filling it full of rubbish, but you're filling it full of useful information that is giving you that assistance. So, and really pick and choose and fine tune the feeds that you want to get to make sure they're the quality of feeds that you want. Networking events are very good. If you can get more active, that's great. It depends obviously on how you want to run your business. Some people just really want to keep this as online and remote as possible. Some people quite happy to get more involved within their local communities and actually stand up and do presentations and keynote speaking and these sorts of things, which can not only, put yourself in front of organizers and, managing directors and CEOs of companies that may have that requirement that for those hotels in bulk, let's call it. But it still does this work of positioning you as the authority, as the expert in that sector. And once you position yourself as an expert, that's why you see a lot of these people doing keynote speakers at seminars, and they also have a blog that they write, and they create a Facebook group, and they do all these things. They're positioning themselves actually as an expert in their field, which attracts business to them. As a result, it's a bit, there's a lot of promotion out there at the moment about giving something away to get something back. And this is because we're in a crowded social media world. Quite often, a lot of people now give something free. So they give a review of some hotels, or they'll give an insight into the best ways to actually book hotels. So something that complements your business and it's not going to cannibalize it or affect it in any way, anything positive, because something that they're going to need you for. Quite often, giving a bit of free information about your city and about things that people can do is a great way to position yourself as that expert as well. And referrals from event clients. So any events that you've already done, ask them. Quite often they socialize and they're connected with other event organizers in other parts of their industry, and they can always act as a great referee for you, especially if you've done a good job and you've booked quite a few people for their event and got them, the organizers, a very good deal on their hotels. That can be a very good source. Look, there are lots of different ways you can do it. I'm sure a lot of you have already been in business for a long period of time. So what to do now is really start to think about how else can we find some events. Staying in your niche is actually a great way to grow faster as well and help you find those events. When you're in that niche, you're more likely to be referred and be found, because organizers of events quite often attend events similar to theirs. So if they see that and they see that you're connected to a particular event, they may invite you to come over and work with them. So something that is in their niche will actually work well to grow faster and actually refer you to more people. It also generates more bookings for you per event, because you're seen once again as an expert, but you're actually seen around the event. The more events that you're connected to in that market, the more people start to see you as a trusted brand at that event, and they're more likely to come to you first rather than searching around. So, as I released a report the other week on bookings with the events themselves, 50% of people who book hotels for events will book directly with the event organizer. And that's great for us. The other 50% will actually go and find their own accommodation, whether they go through booking.com, Expedia, or they go directly to the hotel. Now, they always end up paying more than the people that went through. So the only way to do that is to start to increase the exposure that you have and to start shouting a little louder with your events to make sure they understand, and you understand as the expert in the field, you understand that people are going to look around. However, you can even use the statistical basis of this to say that basically, the 50% who don't book with us pay more. And you can do that by posting things on their Facebook feeds if you've got a good relationship with the organizer, to just shout and get that message out. But all this time you're positioning yourself as the expert in the market in that niche. So you're really building on that niche. And there's some really clever things that we can extend on in here to actually build on that, and we'll do that in future webinars. And let me give you a very, very quick example of this. On Facebook, a very, very good way to build yourself very quickly as an authority is to do a very quick Facebook Live session, teaching people about what you do. So you're going to teach people free of charge what is the best way to select a hotel, the best way to book a hotel. If you're attending a group or an event or a trade show or anything like that, and give them stats on these sorts of things and make it very, very quick. And don't ask for anything. Just put it together as a free tip and circulate it so that people can like it and they can comment on it and they can, just interact with it, which is the best thing to do. Once you've got that content and you've got that quick video, you can then use that by cleverly doing some very, very cheap Facebook ads targeted at the people that are going to be attending your event. Okay, because on Facebook, it might cost you $5 or $10 or something like that to do this, so that you can target those people, and you put what's called a pixel. It's a little tracking code from Facebook, and you can put that onto the website of the event itself with the permission of the organizer. You can put it on our own booking page. Okay, so we can bury that. And what happens is, and you've all seen it, you've all been onto Facebook, and something that you viewed or you were interested in all of a sudden comes up on the side as an ad on Facebook. And it's not a coincidence that that's there. That's there because there's a piece of tracking code that has tracked you on Facebook and knows that you were just on that site and knows that you're kind of interested in that product. So it's going to bring that up on the right-hand side or in the post feed or whatever. Now that, if you've shot that quick little Facebook training video or educational video or whatever it is free of charge that you've given away, and it's got the liked comments and things like that, you've got instant references because people have liked it. And now you can use that to come up, hey, are you attending the whatever event? Because we've got your accommodation covered. We know you'll pay less booking through the event organizer than if you book anywhere else. Click this link, and you link that back to the PBA so that they can book. All right. So there's lots of these really, really clever ways that you can start to maximize the bookings that you start to get, or the connection, that valuable connection with that audience of that event that you've got, by really keeping in that niche and then starting to position yourself as an authority, and then starting to do these couple of little extra creative things that we'll talk about in future webinars that can really assist building your reputation, but also convert into real bookings for very, very little cost if you decide to do that. Or you just interact with the Facebook feeds, obviously, of the event first, because that's free and that's under the agreement that you've got with the event organizer already. So hopefully that gives you a couple of ideas then that you could follow. Also, focus on your best market. Remember, growing your business. What is growing your business? Is it growing the number of bookings? Is it growing the number of events? Or is it just growing the revenue that you want to get out of your business? So what is your best market? Is it a higher booking value market? Is it volume bookings? Is it high net worth individuals? Are you going for luxury travel? Whatever it is, make your niche your best market. So make sure you focus on what's going to give you the business that you want to create. The more focused you are on the internet with business, the better it is. If you spread yourself too wide, you'll spend too much time getting fewer results. So it's really, really important that, and you have the tools and you have the statistics and the analytics and you have the Facebooks, the social platforms, and there is enough people in the world for you to be able to do that and not run out of people to talk to. So if you're going to spend any time, this is why I don't preach having a Facebook page. I only have a Facebook page if you need it or if you're going to use it. Don't have it just for the sake of having a Facebook page. You can build up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers very easily, but it doesn't mean they're going to do any business with you. So, there's no point putting time and effort into that unless you have a specific reason. So, as I said before, if you're planning on running a campaign, then you may need a platform to help you do that. But if you're not, then don't waste your time doing that when you could spend more time simply posting on the event's own Facebook page or Instagram, or just, working with the event organizer closer to be able to get that message out. All this builds trust and value as you become more recognized, and certainly, the more of an expert. I mean, the world is full of experts now. If you've seen Facebook, everyone's an expert. So what that's telling you is that you need to be seen as the expert. Look at our title or our slogan, the world's local hotel booking experts. That's what we've called ourselves for 7 years now, because we want to be the expert in each local market, because you can be, and collectively across the world, with having agents like you all over the world, we are the experts. We can get information and find hotels and deals wherever we are in the world. So what about making more bookings? Okay, one of the ways of doing that is actually by attending the events that you're working with. Actually turn up. You can get one of those roll-up stands, a bit like what, which way, here we go, a bit like what we've got over there. It's one of those pull-up stands. You can buy them for $50 or $70 online or something like that. They're not particularly expensive, and they're branded and the logo on it. And you can take it in your car and you go out to the event. Quite often, because you're dealing with events, the organizers will give you a free stand. You don't have to buy the stand. They'll happily have you there. But if you're there, a couple of things can happen. You can be seen and create great brand awareness, which is great because they've seen you on the organizer's website. They've seen the logo. That's why we have the door hanger logo. That's why we also can do other promotional material. Bear with me. As well, and we have these sorts of things available to you if you see on camera. Things that they're just a flyer, but they're a door hanger. So if you're going to attend an event, you could have some of these gimmicky things, and you could actually personalize the middle of them. Okay, a lot of people use these as a bit of fun, so you could actually put something quite cheeky on there. And of course, there's regular little sort of brochures that you could have done up as well, which all promote the brand. They don't have to be particularly expensive. They don't have to have any particular message on them necessarily, but it can really work. You can also generate bookings then and there. If you're working with a sports tournament, for example, and they have 5 or 6 tournaments throughout the year or more, you could be attending the event with your pull-up stand, get it right eventually, your stand, and you could have negotiated rates already for the next event. So you do a super deal only available to people at that event that will need accommodation for the next event. So you do a deal, I guess, with some of the hotels and let them know what you're doing so they can support you, and they might give you some brochures and some information and some free shampoos and all sorts of little branded things that you could give away. And you work with those hotels directly to create a booking then and there, an advanced purchase booking, could be non-refundable, non-cancelable, but a stupidly good rate, sold only at that event. And that's what you could promote. And you can even contact the event organizer and have them email their database and let people know that you're going to be doing that at that event. So therefore, they'll be looking for you. So you're creating bookings ahead of yourself as well by actually attending these events. What other advantages are there to attending an event? You get to talk to your customers, okay? You get to ask them what they want and what they're looking for. So important in business, in marketing. There's no point going in there just assuming you know everything or guessing because it's what you want. And I know we talk about put yourself in the customer's shoes, but there's nothing better than actually putting the customer in your shoes, so to speak, or you in the customer's shoes, so that you can really find out what they want, what they need, what they've booked before, what they're booking now, and what they're going to book in the future, and what excites them, and what will make them book with you. And these are questions that you can ask them. Also, what about learning the language of your customers? Okay, so if your customers speak a certain way or refer to things a certain way, and I know in Australia people speak slightly differently and use different words and terminologies and expressions to that in the UK, to that in Africa and South Africa, to the US, to Canada, to Europe, to Asia. So know your market and the people that are attending. And when you learn their language, and I don't just mean obviously languages in, different languages, but if you learn the way that they refer to things and express themselves, you use that in your writing, in your PBAs, to actually connect to them more emotionally or logically, which will inspire them to make a booking. Okay, so the way you write things and the way you express yourself is not necessarily the way they're going to, and therefore you might be explaining something or writing about something or blogging about something or on Facebook about something that doesn't connect with them. Whereas if you just did it in their way of speaking, all of a sudden you'll get clicks through to the PBA, and then your bookings will convert because the same message is being sent out on the PBA when they get a book. So lots of good things can come out of actually attending events. If you can't attend the events, you can still talk to the customers. So when you get bookings, give them a call, have a chat with them and say, look, thanks so much for your booking. That's great. Why did you book? What was attractive to you about booking? Have you ever booked with us before? Would you book again? Well, all these sorts of things. Don't be afraid to talk to your customers, because they will give you the best insight into what you need to get more of them, to get more bookings. Okay, so also connect to your customers as early as possible in their cycle via email and social networks. Get to them as early as you can to give you enough time to keep, connecting with them, or enough time to win them over with the messages that you're sending out. That's really important. And so that's what I mean by one event, you could be booking for the next event if that's if that's the way it goes, if that's the rhythm. Okay, do they see you as an expert? So as we've discussed already, become the expert. Position yourself as the expert. Quite often we just have to shout and scream louder than anyone else in the market, and sometimes that's not comfortable for us to say, hey, look at us, look at how good I am. So, you know, there's an old expression, if you know, no one's going to promote you like you, you know, because you know what you've got to say. And as long as you believe in what you've got to offer and you can get the best deals, the best hotels, make sure they're looked after, you have to get that message across. But also writing posts, like I said before, Facebook, do a quick video of yourself, put it on a feed, whatever you need to do. And there's lots of ways of doing that. You can go onto YouTube, and there's so many coaches as to, you know, you can search, how do I become the expert in my field? So many free videos on YouTube. But it really, really does work and position you in a way that attracts people, and it'll attract bookings to you. So it's really important. If you do that post and you give out some information, you don't have to say, hey, look at me, how good I am. That will come across. You're positioning yourself as an authority in that sector. And if you're not quite the authority yet, become it. Do some research. You know, check out the hotels, talk to the hotels, talk to your market, understand what attracts people to those hotels, and make sure you get that message out. That's all hotel critics do, or that's all websites do. They take all this information out here and they funnel it and fine tune it into this information right here, which makes it more convenient for me when I want something like that. Rather than me look through 100 different websites, I just need to look at that one website, and I've got the answers to my questions. I can save my time, do the business I need to do, and then move on. That's what you're there to do. So you do all the hard work, you do all the research, bring it all together on a PBA or on a blog or on a message, and then get that out to the people so they know you can save them time and money and energy. That's how you create value and position yourself as an expert. More bookings will come and more events will come as a result of those actions, which don't cost you anything but a bit of time. Okay. Also, answer questions fast. When you get the inquiries, don't let them sit there. You know, if you put yourself, this is when you should put yourself in the shoes of those customers. If you've sent an inquiry out to someone and you're sitting there waiting for the answer because you need to go on and book, there is always the risk that you're just going to go, oh, well, I'm just going to go and book somewhere else, because we live in a very almost instantaneous or very instantaneous world these days, and people expect things. You know, you can even get things like live chat. I think we've all used live chat features before, you know, a little pop-up screen, and we can then type in a quick question and someone comes back to us immediately. You can subscribe to things like that, live chat. I think at some point in the future with our development, we will add it in. But the thing is, you've got to be available. Otherwise, it doesn't work. There's no point connecting live chat and then you getting back to someone in half an hour, or live chat's always on email and it emails you the question. The whole idea with live chat is it's a live chat. So these can work, these little quirks and tools can work really, really effectively. And if you think of your platform, your Hotels TV business as a platform, there are still other things you can add to it to make it more interactive, to suit the business that you want to suit, so that people ask questions and book. Now imagine that. Imagine that in the booking process now, where people have come onto your PBA, right, live, they're there, and if you follow Google Analytics, or if you've set your analytics up yet, you can actually see when people are on your website live. Now, if you've got a little chat box and they're confused and maybe they're exiting, they're just going, oh, I'm not quite sure. Maybe a little chat box comes up and then they can ask any questions, or say, hey, how do I know this is the best price? Or you know, can my family all fit into one room? Or do I need an adjoining room? Or whatever the question is they need. You could be there answering that. That converts into a booking. But as I said, You have to be available to do that. Now, some people want to run their business so that they're available and they're switched on. Some people want to work their business so they're more reactive and they've got a little bit more time to spare. That's up to you how you want to do it. But generally, the more active and the more on it, the more bookings people are going to do. Follow up your clients as well and call your clients. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and have a chat with them and just say, hey, thanks very much. You know, it's just good customer service. People remember that. And especially all of a sudden, because we deal in a group environment. Okay, now think about this. Okay, you've just done a booking for an event, trade show, an exhibition, or a sports tournament. Someone's just booked. Generally, they're not going to be the only one booking, are they? So who might they know? Other people that are also attending the event. So what you could do is give them a quick call, say thanks very much, and say, look, do you know of anyone else who is going to book? Because these rates are only on our website for a limited time and the price is going to go up soon. All right, so we don't want them paying more than you did. Are there any other people that you could get booked in now that haven't booked yet? All right, and we'll get you a bottle of wine in the room at the hotel for everyone you refer and blah, blah, blah. So once again, this proactivity, you've got a live client in front of you, the easiest one to sell to are the ones that you already have. And if they've just got a good deal, they're going to try and drag their friends and mates and teammates and colleagues in to also book. So follow up your clients, call your clients, understand them, talk to them, ask them questions, learn about the market. That'll teach you about the product that you need to add in. There's so many good things that come out of having actual conversations. Every one of you as agents in our network, we've spoken together. You know, everyone around the world that we have as agents, we've all had a conversation. There's a reason for that, is that we get to know you, we get to understand you, we get to know what the market, what the typical agent for hotels TV starts to look like and what they're interested in. That helps us with our marketing to bring new agents in. That's why we talk to you. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it just completely remotely, because we wouldn't have that level of connection. That is the same in every single business you can imagine in the world. You must get to know what your client likes, what your client wants, your profile of your ideal client. And a great way to do that is talking to them. Okay, and the last tip for you is to find the unfindable. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, you're in a city, it's booked. There's not a room left. There's no availability on booking.com. The hotels are all closed out. I can't do anything. Call the hotels. Find the last available room or the last 5 rooms. Get the hotel just to hold it for 24 hours for you. Put an option on it for 24 hours and then go back to your market and say, I have found the unfindable. Okay, it's there. Okay, that gives you a great kudos. You become positioned as the expert. You're the only one working hard right till the death of this event to make sure that people get accommodated. Guess what happens? People come back and use you again or bring other business to you, because that's exactly what you've done. You have found the unfindable hotel room, and there's always something. There is always a room available. Quite often the hotels will keep it for themselves, okay, because they want to sell it directly. So the first thing they go, no, we're fully booked. And then what you can do is say, look, really? Say, we're only 10% commission, so we're not 15, 20%. You must have one room available, you know? So you can actually, once you get to know hotels more and more, you can actually find that room. And it's a big win for the customer and the guest, and they're very thankful. And guess what? They go and talk about you. They go into social media now and they blog about it and write about it and post about it and do everything else. So, you know, once again, it's activity. Okay, know your numbers, know your analytics. You know, these will tell the story. So once again, everything comes back to this. But what happens is this can really then fine-tune your efforts so you can see where you're getting traction and where you're not getting traction. So with this event or future events, you can then make a solid decision of whether you waste your time or invest your time in these particular areas. You know, see how effective or not effective it actually was. And if it's not effective, don't waste your time. Don't keep banging your head against the wall. The whole idea with statistical analysis is just to find out what works better than what doesn't, and then just stick to what works. You know, so don't think you have to keep flogging yourself down a route where you got nothing back. You know, you got no results. Don't do it. That's what we can do with analyzing things. If you think there's potential, follow it by all means. But so connect that. And once again, it's going to tell you a lot about your market and the market you should be focusing on, the market you should be on Facebook connecting to, the way you should be wording your descriptions. All these things make a massive difference to winning the confidence of your customers, whether they be event organizers or the attendees of the event, which are the clients of the event. Okay, they become your customers. So number one, your customer is the event, but then through the event, the guests then become your customers as well as time goes on. So the analytics will tell you that. And as I said before, you can even see when people are on your booking page live, and you can even kind of connect with them. And if you had a live chat function or something like that, it's a great way to do it. So you can really make amazing inroads into your marketing, into your results. You all already have a Gmail account with your Hotels TV account. So you can now go to google.com/analytics, and you can log into analytics and you can set up your page. It's pretty straightforward. Or in a one-to-one, we can do that. You get a tracking code, which you just need once, and you use that tracking code. Or you can get a tracking code for each individual event if you want. It's unlimited and it's free. It's a free service to use on Google, but it'll allow you to really see live, you know, when your event organizer sends an email out to their database, you can watch people coming onto your website and see the pages that they're actually viewing live. Of course, with analytics, you can track it. You don't have to be there 24 hours a day, but it's quite interesting to watch it live. And that'll tell you a lot about your market and what they're looking for. And once again, we go back to one of the first in the series of training and analyzing this. What bounce rate are you getting? Are you getting 40% bounce, or are you getting 80% bounce? And if you're getting 80% bounce, they're not finding what they want on that page. You know, if you're getting 20, maybe bounce rate of 20%, 30%, 40%, that's pretty good. That means they're generally finding what they want on your page. And as a result, you'll tend to find that you'll be getting bookings with that sort of bounce rate, because that's pretty good. That means 60% plus is actually staying in your funnel. Okay, and we're going to talk about funnels in a minute. Okay, so what's important in your business? Okay, customers, which are the events, the organizers, and the guests. Also the hotels, sales managers, reservations teams, the general manager, whoever is in that. So that you remember, you sit in between both of these. That's what you do. So who is important in your, let's call it a funnel, and we'll discuss funnels, but who is important in your business? Now, let me ask you another question. How do you record these important contacts? Are you using an Excel spreadsheet or a notepad? Are you doing it in your head? Are you doing it on your phone? Or are you using a CRM? Some of you might already be using a CRM. Now, what is a CRM? CRM is a customer relationship management system. Okay, so how do you also enter the information in? Do you just type it in? Do you write it? Do you remember it? Do you look into your past contacts of your phone to find that information? Or are you automating this using a CRM? All right, I think you can see where I'm leading with this. What is a CRM? So as I said, a customer relationship management tool or system or technology or whatever you want to call it. It records customers, okay, the contact details and the conversations that you have, and it builds a profile of these customers, okay? Now, we have a very small CRM in the admin system, but it doesn't do what you can get out there. There's some amazing technology that are dedicated CRMs, which in future webinars will go into which ones, or one-to-ones will go into which ones may suit you. I use one called agilecrm.com, AGILECRM.com. Go to YouTube and search the different CRMs, and there's comparisons, and they'll show you what they do. But I use Agile CRM because it also includes automated marketing, which a lot of them do now. You can set up campaigns of emails, and it just automatically sends everything out. And when people respond, it tracks and records everything. It saves you so much time, but it also maximizes your marketing for you. So I really highly recommend you get involved with the CRM. The automation of the marketing is fantastic. And that could be as simple as, I'll explain in a minute, a newsletter that gets sent out regularly. It puts you in front of your event clients, puts you in front of the hotels, maybe even before you've even spoken to the hotels. So instantly they'll know who you are because they've received 3 emails from you already about something interesting. Okay, and we'll talk about content too. They also have an appointment calendar, so you can keep track of these things and receive reminders and alerts. Okay, so you don't forget anything, or it motivates you. It actually pushes you to do more work when you use them. And what about servicing your customers? The existing customers or the event organizers that you've got, every time you have a conversation with them, you should record it and type it. And you can get apps for some of these CRMs as well. So even if you're at a meeting, you can type the details of your conversation in attached spreadsheets, attachments, PDF documents, whatever it is, against the name of that client. So you can always look back and record and view those conversations, and then set up new marketing campaigns on the back of that, or new conversations that you want to work on and opportunities on with those particular clients, whether they be hotels or the customers. So why a CRM? Because it keeps you organized. It's accessible anywhere. So it's all located in the cloud. So it means whether you're on a laptop, a desktop, or a mobile, or a tablet, you know, you've got access to all this information, just like your hotel's TV admin system. It's going to save you so much time. The Excel spreadsheets are fine, but they're very one-dimensional. You know, they can add things up, and they're good for figures and things. But as a contact management, there's only so many comments you can actually add. And then if you need to search for conversations or search for clients, it's not the greatest thing that you can use. Yes, it's free, but you know, you get what you pay for. Keeping track of clients using an Excel spreadsheet has a value because at least you're doing it. But when you use a CRM, it'll blow you away. a CRM will market for you when you get lazy. We all get times that we get lazy. We all get times we get tired. And so what you do is you set your CRM up when you're fresh so that you know that when you get tired, it's still working for you. Set up 3 or 4 mail shots in a row on an automated basis so these newsletters go out anyway. Whether you're there or not makes no difference. And it's got your contact details. It's got a bit of information. You might do a quick video at one of your events that you attend, just using your phone, just on your smartphone, quick video going, hey, I'm at this event. Look at these event organizers. If you know someone that's just stayed at one of your hotels and you're at that event, do a quick interview with them, put it onto a newsletter feed and send that out to 50 event organizers that show what you can do. And you can, every time you get a new event organizer, you can drop a tag onto that campaign and the campaign starts automatically, and the next 4 email campaigns are already sent out for you automatically. It's so simple, it's so easy, and it will develop so much business for you. I absolutely recommend the investment into a CRM. Even I just started a very free user base or very cheap user base. You'll only need 500 contacts, 1,000 contacts to start with. You pay more depending on the CRM, depending on the number of contacts you have. But, so if you can get in with a trial or a demo, just start to use it and you'll see. And just to put a bit of effort into it. You'll need to go onto YouTube and learn how to use these things. And that's why I only introduce them now towards the end of the training, because before you were busy getting to know, obviously, our system. So there's an order of operation to these things. But, it will change your business and it will change your life. And if you haven't worked with a CRM before, you really, really need to. It will definitely make you more money, provided, obviously, you've set everything up and followed it the right way. If you're using Agile CRM, we can give you some tips on what to do as well. What is a funnel, or a sales funnel, or a CRM funnel? This is actually what you're trying to do with a CRM. You're trying to gather all your leads. So who are your leads? Your leads are your clients, for a start, your event organizers. So you could even buy a database of event organizers and feed them into this. But a higher quality funnel will be the event organizers that you've already talked to. Okay, so the ones that you've found, hey, you've got a great event, I'd love to work with you. Oh, not at the moment, maybe in the future, let me email you some information. You take that contact and you put it into your CRM, and then you connect them into your automated marketing program. That's it. That's really all you need to do. So let me say that again. So the event organizer you've contacted, okay, whether they say yes or whether they say no, or whether they say not at the moment, but send me some information, I might be interested. You put them into your CRM. They are a lead. Enter their contact details, their email address, their telephone number, and write some notes about the conversation that you just had. So, we can't remember everything. And in 6 months, when you need to know the conversation you had, you've got it. So you also know the points that you can sell them on. You know their interested points because you discussed it 6 months beforehand. Or if there's a super deal you've got, you can go back to them, look at your notes, call them in 1 month, not 6 months, and say, hey, I know the event's coming up. Let me tell you, this is what we can do for you. So it allows you to follow up as well. So all these people are what we call leads. A lead then turns into a prospect, okay, when it's warmer. The difference between a lead and a prospect is a lead is quite often a cold lead, maybe off a mail shot, okay? I like a warmer lead, which is people I've spoken to. They go in as a lead to me, but a lead to you might be a cold lead. It might be off a purchased mailing list. Then it turns into a warm prospect, okay? Now, my leads turn into a hot prospect because they started warm when they went into the lead funnel. They were already warm because I'd spoken to them. because they're more inclined to read my email campaign directly from me with my photo because I've met them or I've seen it or I've spoken to, rather than if you just pulled them straight off a database, they don't know who you are, you're still going to have to spend some time warming them up with campaigns. So like I said, once they get to the prospect stage, my prospects are hot by the time they get there because they were warm when they were a lead. And then they turn into customers. And customers do business with you. So what is a customer with a client, an event organizer? One who signs your agreement, says, yeah, let's work together. That's great. And then that turns into the bookings. So who else can we put in this? Hotels, the same thing. When you've spoken to the hotel about an event or you've sent out an RFP, you can send out RFPs, requests for proposal. I've sent you all. You can send those out from your CRM. So what you do is you put your leads become your hotel sales departments. You put your hotel salespeople in as a lead, and in the process, they become a prospect because they're going to do business with you. As part of your marketing, you send an RFP out for the event. Hey, I'm looking for 4 hotels in this area. We're the exclusive agent with this event. Boom. They come in here. So, okay, the hotels are not going to buy anything, but they're going to help you make money because they're still a prospect, they're still a lead, they're a customer, and they're working with you now. And you can also keep notes of the sales departments of the hotels that you've spoken to. So when you need another hotel, you simply type in the name of the hotel on there and pop, up it comes on your CRM with a history of what that sales department did for you before. So what I would suggest is also recording the rate that they gave you for that event. Okay, put all that information into the CRM so you can go back and say, look, last time you gave me that, can you beat it? Or if they gave you a higher price this time, you can go back and say, look, last time you gave me this price and this deal, can you give me that again? And also you create a newsletter just for the hotels. So it positions you as an authority, it positions you as a valuable supplier of business to the hotels. So when you do call them or contact them, you get a much more favorable rate or response, or they open up rooms, or they're more willing to help you because they already know. So you're really building your business not only for your clients and event organizers, but you're building it also for your hotels, which is supplying you the product. Okay, so your customers and suppliers, and you put them together. All right, so hopefully you find that fairly clear. So always think of everything like this funnel from now on. Every time you connect to events, you have a purpose. Your purpose is to take the people that you're talking to here and bring them into that funnel and turn them into bookings. That's what you want to do. Okay, inside the CRM, this is an example of what a CRM looks like. This is the one that I use. Okay, so what you can see is on the left-hand side, you've got various, and I'll use my little pointer now to go into that. Okay, so here you've got little functions like you can go back to the home page. This is the symbol for creating campaigns. This is your contact list, so you can simply click that button and up pops all the contacts in your database, and then you can search by contacts. Now, Agile also has the ability, and a lot of CRMs do now, of you creating tags. Okay, now as a tag, that's supposed to be an arrow. So a tag, if you can see here, territory, global, March, email campaign, whatever these people have been connected to and responded with, we can work with tags. So if I know, so this person's in India, if I know I just want to send out an email campaign to people in India, if I go into my campaigns and I do a search on that tag, it's only going to send my campaign to people in India. Or it's actually, those tags are going to let me know which campaigns those people have actually been involved in, so I know what new campaigns they could possibly be interested in future. All right, so really interesting insights. Another fascinating part of using a CRM, and certainly a CRM with a marketing component like Agile, is that you can see the date and the campaign that you've sent your client. But you can also see when they've opened it. Okay, so your CRM is showing you that these people have received it and looked at it, which is incredibly valuable. So imagine sending an email to an event organizer. You've got to call them. Hey, did you get it? Have you seen it? Have you had a look at it? Okay, with this, you do this through your CRM. You can see the day and the date and the time that they actually opened it and had a look at it and what they did, what action they took. If you had a link to the PBA or an example PBA in the email that you sent out, you can even see that they clicked on the link to go and have a look. So when you call them, your conversation is, look, I believe you received the campaign and you went through and you've had a look at the PBA. Is that correct? You know, what did you think of it? So your conversation has just moved ahead, leaps and bounds compared to when you had absolutely no insight whatsoever. So there's a lot of different things you can do. So you can take notes, you can schedule events, which is just a meeting. So if you're going to attend, meet with an event organizer, you can actually put this in to your event and it sends them a confirmation into their Gmail calendar or whatever calendar they're using, a confirmation of that meeting. So it schedules a meeting and emails them a confirmation. You can set a task like, I need to follow up Rajesh in 2 weeks, and a little alert will pop up in 2 weeks. So you don't have to store it in your brain anymore. You don't have to write it in your handwritten diary anymore. You just follow your tasks every day, just follow, and then your wheel of marketing just is seamless and it's easy. It's so much easier. What's a deal? A deal is you actually write in that you've got the event, and you can even write in a value of the potential business that you're going to get out of that event. So you could do forecasting, or you could see how much business, how much commission you've actually generated. Campaigns and marketing campaigns, web stats. You can do so much with this. I mean, I won't go into it all, but you can actually put a bit of code on your PBA or your website or anything else and actually see the activity of this client on your website. Okay, so it tracks everything. Emails. You can email your clients from within your CRM and it leaves a trail and it automatically sucks in the email conversation into the notes section of your CRM. Okay, so you don't have to look at your emails about that client. You just simply need to go into the client and everything is there on that page. So it saves a lot of messing about. Documents, pretty simple, and ticketing. I mean, there's so much to it. So that is just an overview. You can create landing pages so that you can run a campaign and have them land on a page before they get to your PBA, something to promote it. You can run a webinar for some event organizers. We can do some sessions on webinars, but you could run a webinar to 200 event organizers about the service that you provide them. So in other words, you could pitch hundreds of event organizers your service and invite them into your webinar and then have them go through and make an inquiry and talk to you and leave a comment and fill, and automatically they'll be entered into your CRM and that will create an alert for you. So you've got a list of event organizers that you've warmed up. So if you don't like picking up the phone and calling the event directly, fine. Go and do a Facebook marketing campaign directed at event organizers. costs you $5 a day, something stupid like that. Okay, do a webinar to them, bring them all to a webinar. You can do evergreen webinars now that are on all the time. I'll do some other stuff in marketing on that. All right, when they're in your webinar, you can promote an offer or something to them to connect with you so that they can get maybe a share of the commission. So this becomes a business opportunity for them. Click this at the end of the webinar and you go through, and then you can actually make an appointment to speak to you. So a bit the same way that you all came through, some of you or most of you would have made an appointment to speak to me through a calendar. This is the system that you used. So your event organizer is interested, they want to make money out of their event and use a booking system. You then go through and they make an appointment in the calendar. Up pops your calendar. And today you can see you've got 3 new appointments with event organizers that have come to you rather than you go to them. Pretty good, huh? All right, more on that later. How can you use a CRM now to make bookings? So record event organizer details, conversations and set follow-ups. Yes, we've talked about that. Send email newsletters to events and hotels, which creates awareness. We've talked about that. Create automated marketing campaigns in advance that trigger another action. Okay, so a campaign that does something else. So a campaign that brings them in. Once they've connected and they've gone, yes, I've clicked that and had a look at that PBA. You can schedule another automated campaign to engage at that point, which is great. You've just had a look at our private booking area. Would you like to log in and use it? You know, so these are things that you can really get creative about. You can send RFPs to a group of hotels, but you could schedule it so that one RFP, okay, is sent, and you could have a click button. Click to confirm you've received this. When they click that button, okay, it can then send them another email that you've set up to say, hey, I still haven't received your rates. So half a day or a day later or 2 days later, you can send another reminder. You can set it up automatically. So every single time you want an RFP, you just drop that tag in on the CRM and it does. So if you haven't received it, or if you have received some rates, you can then go back with another automated campaign depending on what you want. So it's endless what you can actually do with it. It's mind-blowing. You can collate information about your hotel guests, and you can create communication with your hotel guests. Now, you can export all this information from the hotel's TV admin system. On the right-hand column under Tools, it says Customer Details and Company Details. So all the bookings that happen through these events that come into your PBA, you can export that information and put it into a CRM. So if you just want to deal with companies, great. You can send out an email campaign directed at companies about looking after their future booking business and having a PBA connected to their company website, something like that. Or you can take the guest details and you can run them through your system and ask them if they'd like to opt in to future hotel deals. Okay, now there's such a thing as called GDPR in Europe, which protects data of the customer, of us as individuals. So it's becoming more and more widespread around the world, but GDPR is actually in Europe. And if you're dealing with any customers in the EU or UK region, then you must adhere to GDPR. So what you can do is send an email campaign out firstly to the people on your list who, by the way, have opted in when they made the booking. They've ticked a button to opt in. But you can then send them another email to be sure and say, look, thank you for your booking. We'd love to send you some very specific information, not too much, but a little bit of information about other hotels that you might find useful or interesting in the future. Click here if you'd like to opt in. Then they click there, and then they're added automatically as a potential guest that you can market to through your CRM. So I just wanted to give you an overview. I mean, there's so many other things it can actually do, but hopefully that gives you that real kind of overview as to what you can do with it. But it can seriously transform the manual activity that you will now need to do with Hotels TV, such as calling event organizers, recording them on a spreadsheet, following them up, making notes of their conversations, and then it removes the risk of losing that information. Or that when you look at things on Excel, it's great for figures, but if you look at comments, you never quite can capture the whole conversation properly. And the other thing is, of course, you can import your Excel spreadsheet directly into a CRM. You simply save it as a CSV file, comma, separated value file, and you can import all those fields directly into your CRM, so you have a core of people to market to within that CRM. So hopefully that's given you some really good ideas and some good insight into everything. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to drop that comment into that box. As I said to you at the start, this is an overview of business development. Business development can be whatever you want to make of it, and I do seriously recommend that you go on to things like YouTube and you search things like, how do I develop my business? And you really start to educate yourself on lots of different ways to do that, because a lot of those principles can be really useful. There are lots of podcasts that are free as well. And if you've got an Apple phone, you have got a podcast function. And I'll show you this. Hopefully it comes up. The purple button is podcasts, and under podcasts, you can search all sorts of different things. You just stick some headphones in and start educating yourself almost subliminally about things that you could do to make your business better and more active and more streamlined and more automated, okay? Because that's what really we're all after. Okay, we all want a business. We're in the booking business. We see the value in that. Some things could be really time-consuming and some not, if you can streamline it. Thanks, David. Yeah, good question. Agile is, I believe they have a free user version. It's only very small for a handful of guests. So if you've got a decent sized database, it won't be free. I have the all singing and all dancing enterprise version, and I love it. I've got well over 10,000 contacts in there and hotels and all these sorts of things. It cost me $79 US per month. Okay. Now, that's not all though. So $79 US. So what's that in sterling? It's about 65 pounds a month or something. I mean, it's not a lot compared to the time it saves me. It costs me more money when I want to do email campaigns. So it costs $1 US per 1,000 emails that are sent out. So if I do an email campaign to 10,000 people, then it's cost me, I think I'm pretty sure it's $1 per 1,000. So it's cost me $10 to send an email campaign out. So if I do one or two of those a week, it's cost me $10, $20 extra every week to do that. But I'm only doing it because I'm getting business back from the other end, or I'm timing a newsletter, or I run the emails you get to be invited to the webinars and for training and different things all come through Agile. So it's all seamlessly done and recorded, so I can keep track of all the information I need on you as our clients, as our agents, and also on the hotels and everything else. So you can get some CRMs all singing and dancing for anything from $50 a month to $200 a month as an average. Like I say, Agile at $79 a month is actually very good value. And like I say, it does lots of things, but you do pay for the email campaigns. But if you're only sending, 200 or 300 emails a week or a fortnight or a month as you build your business up, then you're not going to be spending much on emails at all. So yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, good question. So look, keep asking any more questions. Just keep put them in there, and I'll chat over them in a minute. I'll just go through the takeaways for this week. Stay in your niche. Having that focus is really, really valuable. Focus on your best market, as we said before. So whatever that market is to you, it's based around what your expectations are and your needs of the business. Build your brand, build your own brand, build yourself as the expert. Know your numbers, look at your analytics, use technology for your marketing, use a CRM. If you're serious, look, if you're just doing this part-time and you want to do a few events a year and, you're just easing into this, that's fine. It's up to you as to the reason that you've come in and subscribed and purchased the package and wanted to become an agent. You might want to address it more seriously later on. That's absolutely fine. That's up to you. But if you do want to get serious and you do want to make some money out of this business, then it's a small investment in technology to save you so much time and get you marketing to your customers so much more professionally and so much faster that you will win clients very, very quickly. They will respond. In future webinars, we'll talk about content, actually what you do put into those marketing campaigns. And once again, a lot of this information is on YouTube and a lot of experts out there in marketing and Facebook campaigning. I can show you what we do. We're fairly fine-tuned with what we do, and we're happy to share that. If you do come into Agile as well, then in fact, if you do it through me as another user, I don't know. I have to look into that if that's a viable entity. But I know the system inside out, so I can assist you in one-to-ones on setting up those campaigns pretty easily. There are other CRMs that are very good. Infusionsoft is a very well-known one, and Salesforce are also very well-known. However, I find, and I was with Salesforce for several years, I find it incredibly confusing and well above what we need. You almost need an engineer to come in and set it up. It's more like if you're a commercial food distribution company and you sell products to 500 different companies, then if you've got 300 salespeople, you would probably have a system designed on Salesforce or Infusionsoft's platform in order to help you keep track of all your employees and the sales and leads and so on. It's just too complicated for what we need, and so I changed. And this, has been very, very good. So regardless, you should look at technology for your business anyway, because there's so many great innovations out there that are going to save you time. Just look at Hootsuite, for example. A simple product, if you already use it, like Hootsuite. It came out years ago, very successful company, but what it simply does was you can type in one post to social media on Hootsuite and it delivers it to 3 or 4 or 5 different social platforms. As simple as that. Why? Because it's time consuming to go into each individual platform and do it, where you could just put it through one and automate the process. So there's technology out there that just helps us do these sorts of things. So if you find that you're bogged down with some function in your business, whether it's lead generation or collecting information or whatever, then there are other ways to do it. you could go on, as I said before, you could buy a list. I don't recommend it necessarily because it costs money and it's not warm. It's so much better ways to do it. But you could buy a list of event organizers, bring it into a CRM, run a campaign on, filter out the interested people and discard the non-interested people, and you've got a foundation that you can then start to send email campaigns to, lead them into an appointment scheduler, which Agile has the appointment scheduler, which leads to a potential customer that then contacts you. And you've just built that into your funnel. So think of everything like a funnel. So you can get as creative as you want. And I don't like to go into too much detail because some of you are in very kind of early stages of your business, and I want you to understand the fundamentals of hotels TV first, and then you can automate practices around that second. But it's important the point is still maintained across the board, which is we contact the clients, we then contact hotels, we then create a PBA, we link it to the website, and we promote it through the organizer, and then we manage the bookings. That should be the core fundamental of your business anyway. The other 2 points are be efficient and be active. There's no substitute for activity. Get out there, be active, be connecting to people. The more people you talk to, the more you're going to be in front of, and just keep developing your businesses, you know. And the other thing we didn't really go into was manage your time each week so that you give a little bit of time to marketing. Just because you've got an event, that's great, and events can be consuming, but portion that little bit of time each week to make sure you're still working on the next event. You don't want to go through an event now, deal with it, and then look for an event once you've finished that event, okay? Because then that creates a gap in your income, right? Which could have been avoided if you just spent half a day continuing the marketing process. And if you use a CRM, and once again, it's going to do that for you. You might be sitting there going, well, I don't have any events at the moment, so I've got lots of time to do this. I don't need a CRM. No, when you get an event, you want to keep the momentum going. A CRM will actually help you do that. Okay, so a couple of really important points. Work on your marketing each week, even if you have an event. Keep the momentum going. I've found over the years, momentum is the maker or the breaker of a business. You must keep that momentum going. Schedule it in. It's as important as working on the current client right now. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that and got something out of it. Next week, we continue, and it is the 7th session out of our 8 main training sessions, and we're going to actually create an automated marketing campaign. And we're going to drill down into the nitty-gritties of that next week. So you can actually see how it performs, and exactly what we do on the content side of things for these sorts of things. So hopefully that'll make more sense now that we're starting to push into that marketing automation as well. So that's on the 20th of May. And then following that, we've got the final graduation where we assess successes and we talk about what's going to happen at the next stage. So hope you're enjoying training. It's been great to have you with us all over the world. And remember, as soon as we finish this web class today, the screen will pop up and lead you to the registration page for this 7th session. All right, so get yourself registered on that 7th session. Even if you can't make it next week, at least you'll be sent the video recording, which will be out soon. All right, bye for now.